Hello everyone and welcome to the UK's only TV show dedicated to mental health and well-being topics, the Chrissy B Show. Today is Makeover Day and we have another very special individual to treat here on today's programme. And her name is Jeanette Bateman and she really deserves this makeover because she has been through something quite tough in her life and she's here to share her story. Now for Jeanette's makeover, she's in the safe hands of makeup artist Kate Ayumere and hairstylist Vicky Lord. Now Vicky Lord is also going to stay on with us to tell us about the hairstyle that she's doing for our special guest today. Now, last week we had the pleasure of making over Tracy, who told us her story of her physical and family struggles and how she's overcome them thanks to her very supportive and caring sons. And you can catch that episode on our YouTube channel, Chrissy B Show. Now, do you know someone that deserves a makeover? If you do, please do get in touch with us. You can do so via our website, chrissybshow.tv. You can also tweet us at Chrissy B Show or leave a message on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. And later on, I'll also be talking about practical things that you can do to get through times of crisis. Now, before we go to break, we do love to cover health things on this program because obviously that does have an impact on your mental health too. So here's a doctor's orders with Dr. Rob Hicks.
Hello and welcome to Doctor's Orders here at the Chrissy B Show. I'm Dr. Rob Hicks. And today I'm going to be talking with you about fats and cholesterol. Over the years, fats and cholesterol, they've had a pretty bad press, but actually they're not all bad. We need fat for energy, we need it to provide the essential fatty acids, and actually fat helps us absorb important vitamins A, D and E. Thinking about cholesterol, particularly, it gives us energy. It's also involved in forming cells, the production of hormones, and indeed the production of bile that we need to digest food efficiently. But one of the concerns about fat and cholesterol is if we have too much of it, then it increases our risk of problems like heart attacks and strokes. Now, generally speaking, there are two types of fats. You have saturated fats. These are the fats that come from animal products and processed foods. So, your dairy and your meats, and also the processed foods that I joke with people and say we all like to eat from time to time, biscuits, cakes, pastries and pies. And you also have the healthier fats, the unsaturated fats. These are the ones you get from oily fish, nuts and seeds, and the oils and spreads that are made with rapeseed oil, sunflower oil and olive oil. Now the recommendation is that we should all really be consuming less fat, in particular less saturated fat, and an increase in our amount of unsaturated fat. So how do we actually go about that? How do we go about protecting our heart and circulation? Well, what we can do is we can eat low-fat versions of dairy products like yogurts, cheese and milk. We can choose the leaner cuts of meat and we can trim the fat of meat and indeed remove the skin from chicken. And instead of using butter, ghee or lard to cook with, then we can use spreads and oils that are made with rapeseed and sunflower and olive oils. So these are all ways that we can help improve our diet and hopefully lower our levels of the harmful fats. But how do you know if you've got high cholesterol? Well, in reality, for the vast majority of people, having high cholesterol doesn't cause them symptoms. So that the only way they really find out is when they have their cholesterol tested. And this is easily done. Your doctor or your practice nurse will do this for you. You take the blood test, they'll give you the result. And for most people, generally speaking, we like the cholesterol level to be less than 5. Now, if you or any member of your family is concerned that you may have high cholesterol, or that if you know that somebody in your family has high cholesterol, or you just like to know, what is my cholesterol level, then do have a chat with your doctor who'll be more than happy to talk you through a cholesterol test and how you go about lowering your cholesterol overall and protecting your heart and circulation. And that's Doctor's Orders.
Thanks very much to Rob there. Now, after the break, we're going to be having our makeover reveal, so don't go away. Hi, I'm Chrissy B and my show is all about improving your mental health and being happy. Join me every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 10 p.m. on my channel Sky 203. Visit chrissybshow.tv for more information and subscribe to our YouTube channel Chrissy B Show. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Chrissy B Show and on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Welcome back to today's program, and we've been honoured to be able to treat another very special individual in the form of a makeover here on the Chrissy B Show. Now, before you see our makeover reveal, let's take a look at this video where I went to do a healthy circuits class. Now, this is a class for people that are maybe going through some kind of treatment. They're maybe not as mobile as other people, and it's something that's quite light but also very fun. So let's take a look. Everyone, I'm here at the YMCA in central London, Tottenham Court Road, and I'm here with Duncan Declan, who is going to be telling me about a very interesting class that we're going to be doing today. Can you tell us about the Healthy Hearts, Duncan?
Yeah, the Healthy Hearts circuit it's aimed at older adults and it works the whole body. So basically it's a little bit of strength work with a little bit of aerobic work as well, and then some stretching towards the end. So you have different stations set up and you do a warm-up, a group warm-up, and then everyone starts at a different station and you spend around 45 seconds to a minute at each station, and then the instructor moves you on. So you could go from doing, say, some squats into doing some step-ups, into doing some bicep curls. So by the end of it, you've kind of targeted most of your body muscle groups.
Why is that so good, especially for older adults?
Well, it just helps, it keeps them moving, which is probably the most important thing for them. It keeps the joints moving, it keeps, increases bone density for them, it's stimulating, it's good fun.
Tell us more about the social element to the class and being here at the YMCA in general.
Well, I think particularly with the older adults groups, you know, they develop friendships over time, and so they tend to come. There's groups that come on a Wednesday, groups that come on a Thursday, groups that come on a Friday, depending on what classes they like. So over time, you know, they cultivate friendships, and you know, often after the classes they'll go out and have you know, sort of a social event together and stuff like that. So it's just about, you know, getting to know people as you start coming to the classes more and more.
So it ticks all the boxes, good for your physical health, good for your mental health, and good for your social life.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. And really important, you know, as you get older, because as we know, people can become quite isolated as they get older, or as family might move away and not necessarily live down the road from them. You know, it's almost like becomes a bit of a lifeline, coming in and doing some exercise once or twice a week as well.
Thanks so much, Declan. Thank you. So now I'm here with Christopher and Glenn, who are both in the class with me, this Healthy Hearts class. So I'd like to ask first of all your ages.
Well, I'm 71.
71 and?
86.
Wow. So how long have you been doing this class, first of all, Christopher?
5 years.
What do you personally get out of it?
I no longer have a problem with this left triceps, and my blood pressure's better. I assume that it's doing me good.
I think it definitely is. And Glenn, how about you? What are you getting out of these classes and why do you do them?
There's a lot of friendship. We've formed a very nice little group. We know each other well. And I find it's just general fitness. I mean, at my age, it's essential that we keep all the bits and pieces going.
I mean, the social element is also so very important, isn't it? Because it does get you out of the house, gets you moving, gets you, you know, socialising, which is really good.
I'm not sure I need to get out of the house, but I certainly find this a friendly place.
So thanks very much to the YMCA in Tottenham Court Road for allowing us to film that class. Okay, so we did promise you our makeover reveal. So here's a photo of Jeanette before the makeover. And here she is now. Hello, Jeanette.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, thank you. Very good, thank you.
You look gorgeous.
I feel gorgeous.
So you've had the makeup done by our lovely Kate,
Yes.
and also you've had the hair done by our lovely Vicky here. Welcome back, by the way, Vicky.
Lovely
Nice to see you again. So tell us what you've done. Why did you go for this particular look for Jeanette, first of all?
Okay, well, Jeanette's got quite fine hair, so I wanted to create as much volume in the hair as possible. And we've used a lot of dry shampoo, because dry shampoo is fantastic for creating volume in hair ups, as well as...
I thought it was just for like greasy hair when you've not had time or not been bothered to wash your hair.
No. It's great for that too, but it's fantastic for the hair up, because literally you just spray it in the root area, back comb it, and you can create so much like lift in the hair. And it makes the hair more pliable, so you can work with it a lot better. So you can create amazing hairstyles like this.
Yes, lovely.
So this is what we would call a French pleat. We've got a lovely bit of height here, and then we've got a beautiful fold at the back here.
Beautiful.
And this is all being created by using dry shampoo and lots of back combing.
Yeah.
Jeanette's got a square jawline, so by having a little bit of height, it really flatters her face shape. And by having just a few little bits down here and here, just softens her jawline as well.
It's very feminine. And,
yes, it's a beautiful hairstyle.
Gorgeous.
It's a very classic hairstyle.
Okay. Now, I know, Jeanette, you have lost your hair in the past because of the treatment, which we are going to go more into Jeanette's story after the break, but you can tell us a little bit now about the time when you did start losing your hair. Can you tell us about that?
So initially, when I first was told that I had cancer, I thought your hair, and I would lose my hair, I thought it would just fall out all at once, but it's not. It's a gradual thinning. So I used to walk around the house, and it was quite distressing to see the hair lying on all over the place, and wake up in the morning and see it on the pillow. So it gradually thinned, and in the end I took the decision to shave the rest of it off because it was so patchy. But it is such a part of you as a woman, that it's who you are, and it's quite difficult to then move on and get used to the fact that you haven't got hair, or you haven't got eyebrows, or your eyelashes go. And things like that you don't actually realise.
Did you use anything when your hair had fallen out afterwards?
So I bought a synthetic wig initially, and used to use that. And then my husband's family is in the hair business, so they got me some. Actually, it is. They actually got me some real hair, and I had a wig made for myself for that. So I used to wear the real hair wig when I went out, because you couldn't actually tell that it was a wig. If the wind blew, you couldn't see any joins or anything. It was amazing. And then for everyday use, I used to wear the synthetic one. So they both worked. The synthetic one was a lot lighter, so when it was in the summer and I was getting really hot, it was easier to wear that.
Okay. And how long did it take for your hair to grow back?
So it starts growing back about a month after, 3 to 4 weeks after the last treatment. But it takes quite a long time to grow. So it took about 18 months before it was back to where I was before I had treatment.
All right, and now you're here on TV having your hair done, which is wonderful. Now, Vicky, I know you've obviously got other clients as well that have been through similar things. In your experience, what's it been like talking to them about their hair afterwards, and how's that been?
Well, as Jeanette was saying, it's a real shocking experience when you lose your hair. And there's a lot of ladies that will go out there and they'll try and disguise their baldness with scarves and turbans and wigs and so on. But wigs, there's so many fantastic wigs out on the market. You've got the synthetic wigs, which are obviously a lot lighter to wear. You've got the natural human hair wigs, which, as Jeanette was saying, just blow in the wind and look amazing. But I think the key with wigs is to make sure that you go and try on as many as you can, long, short, just to get a feeling for what style you want to achieve with the wig. And then possibly take it to your hairdresser and make sure that your hairdresser can cut wigs. Because one slip of the wig and it could go terribly wrong. So, and that's an expensive mistake to make. So it's just about making sure that you chose the right wig, get fantastic colourful turbans and scarves, and as Jeanette was saying, your hair does grow back. It grows back quite fluffy, doesn't it, Jeanette, at first?
It's like baby hair. It's like having hair for the first time, soft and downy.
Yeah.
And then after about 2 or 3 weeks, your natural hair will start to grow through. Is that right? Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So, you know, and sometimes I've had clients come in and their hair colour's completely changed. You know, their texture, it could be like curly and but they're naturally straight. It could be thicker, thinner, but I think the dramatic change is when it actually changes colour. That's like pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So,
A lot of people that I knew said that when their hair grew back, because it kills off the healthy cells, it grows back grey. But I was really fortunate in that mine grew back brown, the same colour when it left.
So this is quite fascinating for me because I didn't know all of this, how
And
the
I
hair
had
grows
curly
back.
hair for the first time in my life.
Wow. Okay, well you look amazing, my darling. Now you are going to
you.
stay with us until after the break, and you're going to be telling us an amazing story because you are a very positive person, I would say, and the fact that you've come on TV also to share your story, I think is really great. Okay.
Yes.
Now, Vicky, just before we go to break, I want to just pick your brains a bit more. Now, you did mention, because I don't know anything about wigs, I've never used one, and I know, you know, there are girls and ladies that will use them, even if they haven't got a health problem or they haven't lost their hair, but they just want a different look. Now, do you treat wigs as you would like your human hair? Like, do you still wash them and like you can dye them and everything like that?
well, it depends. If you've got a synthetic wig, then you obviously can't apply direct heat to them. But if there's some synthetic wigs that you can apply about 160 degrees heat on them. But other than that, it's literally, you know, just cold curling the hair with the synthetic wig. And you can wash them and condition them, but you just have to be very careful because it is synthetic.
Yeah.
With a human hair wig, you can treat them like you would do with your normal hair. You can wash them, you can condition them, cut them. You know,
You don't keep them on while you're sorry to ask questions,
no, that's
but I really
fine.
don't know. You don't keep it on right as you're doing.
No,
You
you
like,
just
take
literally drop your hair off to your hairdresser and say, can you book that in for a colour and cut? So, but most of the time it's easier to cut the wigs, obviously, on somebody, but you know, you can get like a nice head block and rest the wig on the head block and work on it that way.
Okay.
There are some amazing wigs out there. So just, you know, it's a matter of just going in and choosing the right shape for you.
The right one. Okay then. All right, my lovely. Thank you so much for
You
coming
are more
on
than
to
welcome,
tell us
Chrissy.
more. And Vicky, Jeanette, I'll keep you on until after the break, so don't go away. Hi, I'm Chrissy B, and my show is all about improving your mental health and being happy. Join me every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 10 p.m. on my channel Sky 203. Visit chrissybshow.tv for more information and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Chrissy B Show. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Chrissy B Show and on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Welcome back to today's programme. So we have had our lovely makeover reveal here with Jeanette, and now she's joining me to talk about her amazing story. She's a very brave lady to come on to talk about this, and she's also going to be inspiring our viewers today, aren't you, my love?
Hopefully.
Okay. So tell us when all the troubles began for you. What happened?
So it was about 4 years ago, and I'd been trying to go down the gym and get fit and get a little bit more healthy. And there was something that I couldn't quite put my finger on. Everything was a little bit harder to do. Where I'd been working at a certain level before, I couldn't do that. And it was something I couldn't put my finger on. And then I had a couple of periods which I can only describe as the most horrendous things and scary things that I've ever experienced.
In what sense? Were they
in terms
heavier,
of the loss of blood, it was
wow.
just continuous all the time for 2 weeks out of a month. So after 2 months of that, I don't know why I waited 2 months, I went to the doctors. I thought it might have settled down. I went to the doctors and explained what was going on, and he sent me off for some blood tests. The first blood test came back with some abnormal levels, so he then sent me off for some further blood tests and wanted me to go and have an ultrasound. So I arranged to have the ultrasound. This was just before Christmas. So I had to wait over the Christmas period, which was quite worrying, and then went for the ultrasound after Christmas, and immediately they did the ultrasound. They said that there was something wrong with the lining of my womb, in that it was a lot thicker than it should be, and that I needed to be referred through to a gynaecologist. So I went to the gynaecologist, and he then explained that some of the possibilities that it could be cancer. And I had to go in for a day procedure. So I went in to have a day procedure, and everything didn't go smoothly with that. The procedure took a lot longer than it was supposed to. He had more complications, and afterwards, when I was in the recovery room afterwards, the consultant came to see me and said that they'd hit some complications, and I asked what the complications were, and he said there was a 50-50 chance that I had cancer.
Oh God. When you heard that, Jeanette,
that word just puts the fear of God in you. I mean, if you say that word to anybody, they automatically think, oh, am I going to live? Am I going to die?
Yeah.
What does that mean for me? So it was a really difficult time. I'd sort of thought that was one of the possibilities, but never actually thought that you would hear that. It all feels a bit surreal. I mean, you keep repeating the word to yourself, I might have cancer. And you just sort of, it just doesn't hit home. So they said that they would send the biopsy away for tests, and that I would need to come back within 7 to 14 days. Within a very short period of time, they then wanted me back within 2 to 3 days, and things then just moved really, really quickly. Initially, I went to see the consultant, and he said, hopefully the cancer will be contained to the womb, we can do a hysterectomy, and then you won't need any further treatment. So you cling on to that hope that that's the extent of what you're going to have done.
But even the news of a hysterectomy, that must have been quite worrying for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'd never really thought about children, but that made it quite final. I could never have children. With a hysterectomy, that was the end of it. And whilst I never thought that had bothered me, knowing that was the end of it, and then that was the thing gone, was almost a finality to it that it was really quite difficult to accept. So we then continued, and I had to go for an MRI scan. They wanted to check the extent of the spread of the disease. And I remember vividly the day that me and my now husband went back to get the results of the biopsies and everything else. And we were sitting in the room, and there, with womb cancer, there's 4 stages, 1 to 4. And we were sitting in the room, and the consultant turned around and said, unfortunately, it spread further than we thought. And he effectively turned around and said, you're stage 3.
Goodness.
And you sort of sit there and think, 3? I thought it was 1, 3 or 4, that's really bad. And that was the time, I can still visualise that day, walking out of the consultant's office in the corridor with people sitting all around me and just breaking down into hysterical sobs and just thinking, my God, what does this mean? That's more advanced, how am I going to deal with this? So then it all happens very quickly. You're almost on a conveyor belt, and your life becomes one stream of appointments after another. So I then had to go to see the surgeon because they were talking about the hysterectomy, and that it was effectively a total abdominal hysterectomy, and that involved just taking everything away. So they did that. I went into hospital to have that done, and was in hospital for about 5 days recovering from that, and then was discharged home to recover from that. The recovery from that was 11 weeks that I was, because you don't realise how much that in itself effectively just wipes your body out. But the other thing that was really difficult to contend with was the fact that immediately that I'd had the hysterectomy, I went straight into the surgical menopause. So not only have you got not only have you got all of the troubles and the thoughts around cancer, but you're waking up in the night drenched from head to foot. It was just the most...
Jeanette, how did you... Because obviously you had your chemo and radiotherapy and everything as well, on top of everything else. And You also were telling me earlier that you actually worked, you continued working through all of this. How did you keep positive?
So I think in the time when I was off after the hysterectomy, that was the hardest time, because you had all this time on your hands and your mind thinks, and all you can think about is cancer the whole time. And people had said to me, why don't you take the whole period off? And I was adamant that I wanted to go back to work to give me something else to think about, because my life felt that it was just about cancer, that was all I was at that point in time. So
was you just kind of like saying, or like they do on those adverts, right? Was it up yours? They say up yours cancer and stuff like that. It's like, I'm just going to do anything. I'm just carrying on with my life anyway. You're not going to stop me from...
This is never going to beat me. And I just wanted some normality back in my life, and going to work. And I would have chemo on the Friday. I would then go into work on the Tuesday, Wednesday of the following week, work for a few days. Then there would be the low point in my immune cycle, so I'd work from home. So I effectively would work 2 weeks out of the three-week cycle. You just start to feel normal again, and then it would hit you again with the next cycle. And that went on for 12 weeks, and then I had a month's break, and then I had 5 weeks of radiotherapy, going every day to have radiotherapy.
Wow.
And so I used to go into work at 7 o'clock in the morning, work till 12 o'clock, go off for radiotherapy, and then go home afterwards. And do
I'm really shocked. You're amazing.
Yeah, it did catch up with me in the end, I think. So when all
just
of
that mental attitude that you had, you know, despite everything that was going on, it's just...
I mean, I can't remember a lot about that time. I couldn't tell you what I worked on. Because there's also a terrible memory thing with chemo that you've...
but the fact is you still worked, you did something.
So I did something.
It was just the fact that you didn't give up.
And I believe that and the positivity is what got me through at the end. Because my life didn't just revolve around the disease and the treatment. Yes, it was a huge part of it. I mean, a year of my life was taken by the disease. But
how do you, obviously now, what stage are you at now at the moment?
So I had regular checks. I'm in the 4th year of my checks. So I have checks every 9 months now.
Okay.
Hopefully they'll then move to yearly, and then ultimately at some point I will stop having checks.
You've beaten it, my love, haven't you?
You've beaten it, but it never leaves you. It always stays with you. You get a tweak. Is it coming back? It's something that changes you for life. It changes your outlook on life.
I was going to ask you about that actually. How do you see life now?
I wake up thankful for every day that I'm here. I mean, I sit here and think that I've had 4 years that maybe I shouldn't have had. I met friends through chemotherapy, 2 friends, and neither of them are here. I was the only one that made it out of the 3 of us. And I just wake up every day and I'm grateful that I'm here and just realise how lucky I am.
How important was your relationship in all of this, in the support and everything?
It was huge. I mean, without going into details, there are things that my life and my body has changed forever now. There are things that will never be the same again. And I couldn't have gone through everything that I've gone through without Paul by my side. He was just, when I woke up in the middle of the night crying, he was just there and just held you. If I didn't want to go to work, he was just there. He waited on me hand and foot. The nurses said that I wasn't allowed to lose weight during chemo. His personal mission was to feed me up and fatten me up like the turkey for Christmas.
Sorry. Bless you.
And I must have been the only person who had chemo who put on weight other than
really? He did a brilliant job, didn't he?
He is the love of my life, and I wouldn't be here and I wouldn't have got through it without him.
That's amazing. And you got married?
We did.
To him?
We did.
He's a keeper, right?
He's a keeper. He's a keeper. He's a very good cook, cleaner. But he is one of the most caring individuals that I've ever met in my life.
Yeah. Oh, that's absolutely
And he was
amazing.
just such a huge support.
Brilliant. Now, Jeanette, if anyone's watching now that is maybe has just been diagnosed and they just feel like the whole world is falling apart, what advice would you give to someone that's been through it and gotten through it?
I would say to them, the biggest thing is try to remain positive throughout it. You don't know what life holds for you. I never ever asked the percentages, the chances of me surviving it, because you don't know what percentage you're in. If it's 25% survival, you could be in that 25%. Nobody knows.
That is such a good point, Jeanette.
They don't know why some people respond and don't. So just carry on as if you're in that 25%, remain positive, accept that you're going to have good days and you're going to have bad days. And on the bad days, just crawl into bed and cry. And on the good days, just try and get some normality back into your life. Do things that make you smile. You can still smile. I mean, we used to laugh at some ridiculous things during. We'd sit on the train and I'd get a hot flush from the menopause, and Paul would whip my wig off and we'd just laugh at people's reactions. And so you do have moments when you do have laughter still while it's going on. It's a very difficult time, but
humour's important.
You can come out the other side of it. The humour is important, and just talk to people. We made a promise to each other that if either of us was thinking or worrying about something, that we would always talk about it, no matter how bad it was, and that just got us through.
Excellent, Jeanette. Now, obviously, in Jeanette's case, you had someone by your side, but there are people that maybe they don't have a partner, but this is where it's very, very even more important for you if you are going through it, to speak to someone. There are people that care, even if it's not maybe a partner or you don't have immediate family around you. There are brilliant charities out there that you can get involved with, and have someone to talk to. You can get counselling. So just make sure you don't try to do everything by yourself or not to do it alone, because there is help, but it's really, really important that you talk about what you're going through.
I mean, I rang up and spoke to Macmillan a couple of times when I had difficult decisions to make. Also, there are people going through it with you. They're not on your own. I've got colleagues at work who are going through it at the moment. And I've sat down and talked to them and explained what happened to me and the experiences and what they can expect. You will meet people through treatment and through actually having cancer. And they are the people that can understand. I remember my friend saying to her husband, he'd turn around and say to her, "Why do you do everything that Jeanette says, but you don't listen to me?" And she said, "Because you don't know, you're not walking in my shoes." And use the people that you have treatment with. Make friends with them, talk to them, because you're never alone with this.
You've been absolutely amazing, my darling. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now, one last question. Do you like having facials done?
I do indeed.
Right, because I have a special little gift for you. Now, this is courtesy of the Chrissy B Show and also Thai Square Spa. It's an 1.5 hour facial just for you to treat yourself, my darling.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's from us and Thai Square Spa, and please do enjoy and relax, and you deserve every moment of it, and I think you're brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you for having me.
Definitely. All right, guys, so wow, what an amazing story. I'm so glad that Jeanette came on to talk about what happened, and also how amazingly positive that she is. So now it's time to go to a break, and after the break we'll have lots more for you, so don't go away. Hi, I'm Chrissy B, and my show is all about improving your mental health and being happy. Join me every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 10 p.m. on my channel Sky 203. Visit chrissybshow.tv for more information and subscribe to our YouTube channel Chrissy B Show. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Chrissy B Show, and on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Welcome back to today's program. So we have been honoured to be able to treat another very special individual in the form of a makeover here on the Chrissy B Show. And if you've missed any of today's program, you missed the story and the makeover, don't worry, you can head over to our YouTube channel in a few days' time, subscribe and watch the show there. And again, if you know anyone that deserves a makeover, or maybe you'd like to nominate yourself, perhaps you've been through a difficult time and you've overcome it and now you'd like to inspire others, do get in touch with us. You can do so via the website chrissybshow.tv. You can also tweet us at Chrissy B Show, or leave a comment on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. So now it's time for my own tips on things that you can do to get through a tough time. So the very first tip is don't keep it in. Now, this is something that we do go on about a lot on this program, because talking to someone that cares, that can understand you, it really is important. But you need to, I would say you need to choose wisely who you are going to speak to about your problems. If it's someone that's not very patient, I wouldn't do that. And sometimes, unfortunately, people in our own family or maybe certain friends aren't the type that you can just sort of sit there and offload everything. So you need to choose carefully, and someone that's not going to feel like it's a burden if you actually go and speak to them. So choose wisely, but it's very, very important that you do have someone to talk to. My second point is stick to a routine. So especially when we're talking about maybe a crisis, or even maybe if you've lost someone that you love, try not to let everything go out of the window. So make sure you still have your time to wake up in the morning, your time to eat, you know, do your things around the house, go for a walk. So just avoid maybe staying in bed or just sitting in front of the TV, because you will feel a lot worse. And also try to see people at least once a week. Don't stay all by yourself. Now, I remember on the flip side of that, I remember when my dad died, even sort of the day after, and sort of that week after he died, it's like the house was just full of relatives in and out, people coming round, people coming for dinner. And I know I love my family and the neighbours and everything, and I know they meant well. They just wanted to cheer my mum up and be there for her and be a support and not leave her by herself. But I think in that respect, she did need some time by herself, at least a few days or a couple of weeks, just to be by herself and process what had happened, and, you know, start to think about her life. And she didn't really get much of a chance to do that, and it was a bit overwhelming for her, although she did appreciate everyone, obviously. And, you know, once she had a bit of time after that, but I think it was too soon. So once she'd had that time, obviously the family are a great support even now to her. But it's important that you have your time, but don't overdo it. Don't have people around you all the time, because you do need a balance, I would say. My third point is to get enough sleep. Now, it might sort of seem a bit like, oh, well, how can I sleep when something bad's happened to me, when I'm going through something like that? And actually, we did a whole show on how to get a good night's sleep, which you can catch up on our YouTube channel. But this is very important, because if you're just going to stay up maybe and not get enough sleep, or not at least try to get some rest, it catches up with you and you end up feeling a lot worse. And which actually leads on to my next point, which is that you should always eat healthily. Now, I know also the tendency is with some people that when something bad has happened, when something, I suppose, unexpected has happened, maybe they won't eat at all. You stop eating, you lose your appetite. But again, you need those nutrients, you need your vitamins, you need your food to keep you healthy, to keep you mentally stronger as well. Because if you're depriving your body, even if you don't feel like eating, you should still try and force yourself to eat something, even if it's something light, so that you're still getting some energy, and that will also feed your brain and you'll be more positive. But if you're not eating, or if you're eating wrongly, if you're eating the wrong kinds of foods, then that will make you feel much worse. And also, I believe, will kind of slow your recovery. My fifth point is avoid the alcohol. So you may want to try to numb the pain maybe, but the after effects will make you feel worse. So avoid anything like alcohol or drugs. And actually, this is a very, I would say, very dangerous time for many people, when something's happened, when they've lost someone, when maybe their world seems like it's turned upside down. A lot of people end up getting addicted to something, because they're trying to forget. They try to use these substances, they try to use things, or maybe even gambling, things like that, to try and numb the pain, to try and forget what they're going through. But then in the future, that's just going to accumulate. That's going to lead to even more problems. You're going to have more things to deal with. So the best thing that you can do actually is what we spoke about at the beginning, is to actually speak to someone in the first instance, speak to a friend, a relative, someone that you trust, so that you don't go down this destructive route. Even though it might feel good for a short period, but afterwards it's going to feel a lot worse. And then the sixth point is to make sure that you do get some help. And we're talking about now, maybe you've already tried speaking to friends, you've already spoken to someone that you trust, but you don't feel it's enough. It's not enough just to express yourself. And there was a time actually that I went through this. I was going through counselling when I was depressed and when I had the panic attacks. I went to my counsellor. I was going there for about a year. And for me, I got to a point where I was just fed up of just speaking. And one day I said to him, what can I do? What do I do about this problem that I'm going through? And he just peered at me over his glasses and he said to me, well, I'm not here to give you a solution. I'm just here for you to talk. And for me, it wasn't enough, because I was really suffering so much. I was really going through so much that I thought, I have to do something. I don't just want to talk about it. I want to fix this. I want to fix my life. And that's where I continued looking for help. So again, you know, I'm not putting down counselling at all. I know it helps many people. It's a very good first step for many. And for some people, it solves their issues to go for some counselling. But in the case where you've spoken to friends, you've spoken to family, you've been to your GP, you've maybe had some counselling done, and you still feel like you need more, continue. There's charities that you can go to. There's other supports that you can ask for. And if you want to know more, on our website, we've actually got a section called Useful Organisations, and there's some great charities on there that you could turn to in a time of crisis and speak to someone. So there's an extra help. And also you can contact me for more information. So guys, if you at home have a story that you would like to share on this program, don't forget this is your show too. It's not just mine. All right. So do get in touch with us via the website, chrissybshow.tv. You can also visit our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show, and you can also tweet us at Chrissy B Show. But we haven't quite finished yet. Before we close the program for today, let's take a look at this video and then I'll be back.
Hi, I'm Ben and welcome to the Move 360 studio. Today we're going to go through some exercises, quite high energy exercises, just using one step. We're also going to throw in some strengthening exercises for the glutes and the abdominals as well. And if you've got a step like this, you can use something else like stairs, or you can use just a wooden block, or you can make one at home quite easily. I've just got a Reebok step. We're going to start off with this exercise, which is a frontal plane exercise, working your glutes. Again, high energy. Do this for about 45 seconds and your heart rate's going to be going up. So keep switching sides. Double tap on the toes. And this is a great exercise to strengthen the glutes, particularly at the top, the gluteus medius, which is great for stabilizing the knee, foot and ankle. Next exercise we're going to do is a running pattern one. So if you're training to run and you need to strengthen in certain areas, this is a great one to strengthen the hamstrings and get your spring. So onto the here and then throw up the leg at the back. Get the arms going as well. We're going to switch legs and do the other side. Make sure you do both sides, otherwise you'll be imbalanced. The next exercise we're going to move on to after that. Again, do that for about 30 seconds, 45 seconds, and you're going to feel that. I'm out of breath already doing that, so it's pretty tough. Over to here, into a lunge. So use the step again, and then driving up and down into a single leg lunge off the step. Loading the glutes here, abs. Again, you're working those stabilizers that stabilize the knee, foot and ankle. And again, you do the other side. This one's slightly different. You go for 10 to 12 reps to build strength through the abdominals and the glutes and the quads. The last one, sit down on your step. Arms come out here so they can't help you. And you stand straight up. Straight back down. Up. Back down. Back down. Driving. It's really hard for the abs to keep your body upright because you want to bend forward, but really try hard to stay upright. And down. So you're working your abs, your glutes again. And that's your circuit. And that's going to get you feeling stronger, feeling fitter, and hopefully happier as well.
So thanks very much to Ben there, and it's always a good idea to do exercise no matter how you're feeling, and especially if you're going through a tough time, because it does make you feel better. All right guys, so we have reached the end of today's programme, and until next time, bye-bye for now.
I've had an absolutely wonderful time. I've been thoroughly spoilt. I look amazing, hopefully, and I've had a really good time. It was lovely to talk about the experience, and if that can help one person, then that's one person that will be better off for the whole thing. Thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you for the present as well.
I feel like doing this really quickly, but I'm not going to do it. I'm so tempted. Spin! I won't do it, my love, I'm sorry. I'll behave myself.
Actually, let me just move her fringe out her eyes slightly a little bit.